Hey, what's up guys? Ryan here from E39 Source, and we're going to talk about two things in this video. Thing number one, the state of parts car number one, the 2002 Sterling Gray Metallic E39 M5. And thing number two, what is still available, what we still have available to sell. So we're going to walk outside. It's a little windy. I didn't bring my better microphone with the dead cat on it, so excuse the wind. I'll try to talk right into the microphone here, but this is the update. This is where we stand now with Sterling. Unfortunately, it cannot be repaired. I know everybody wanted me to. It would have been financial suicide on our part to attempt to do that. This frame rail here is mangled. You'd have to cut off this whole corner of the car, weld it in. It would never be straight again. It would not have made sense. With United States labor rates, this would have been a $10,000 to $15,000 repair easily. So unfortunately, it gets stripped down to the chassis. And this is what an E39 looks like without anything in it. The only two things installed in this car are the rear windshield and the front windshield. That is it. Everything else is gone. Even the little plugs in the chassis, everything's gone. And this thing weighs about 1,000 pounds. Four guys could pick this thing up and move it around. And we've just got it on kind of a little roll cart with some casters. But that's what things look like when everything's gone. Actually, I lied. I still have a RLS in there, rain light sensor I need to take out. Some factory cardboard on the roof and everything. That's what an E39 looks like, stripped. It's sad, I know. Got a guy coming to cut out some metal back here in the trunk. I think he's doing an M5T and wants some of that, so I'm happy to help the community in that way. But that's what's left of the Sterling car. So let's move forwards, onwards and upwards, and I'll show you what we've got left inside. Okay, the engine has sold. It's being shipped out today. Ironically, it is going back to Hudson, Ohio, where I lived for 24.5 years, and where this engine was rebuilt 3 years ago. You guys remember those clips? It's going back to him, that same guy. The guy that bought it lives in Pittsburgh, but LMS and Hudson's doing a swap and maybe some work on that engine. It goes out today. So we'll start over here. The shop's a total mess right now. I wanted to go through and do a video on what we have available still before I organize everything and put things like a fuel tank way up there and stack things more neatly and whatever. So I have 4 windows. 2 rears, 2 fronts. It's got tint on it. The tint can go or the tint can stay. That would be your call, but we've got 4 good windows. We've got a fuel tank, a fuel pump, a charcoal canister, everything that goes along with the fuel tank. All of that stuff's in great shape. It's got a working fuel pump and all. Good level senders. We have 2 fender liners. I believe they are rears. The fronts were damaged. I've got 2 good rear fender liners. In fact, there's 2 rears and there's 1 front. The front left is available, and all of those are in pretty good condition. The entire Alcantara headliner, I can't believe this didn't sell. It's in phenomenal condition. The one little imperfection that I noticed over there has seemingly worked its way out, but even if it hasn't fully, I was just going to peel back some of the material, straighten it. It's right on the edge, put that back together, and it's nearly a perfect Alcantara headliner with A pillars, B pillars, C pillars, dome lights, map lights, the center sensor cover, the handles. Everything's here. I can't believe nobody's wanted it yet. Down to the home link panel and the button, all of that stuff's here. There's more parts like that over here, the rear map lights, the C pillars. I found wheel studs on the car when I took it apart. So the rears have H&R spacers with longer bolts. This is both of them, so you can see how minor of a spacer that is. And then the fronts are ECS tuning. They're a little bit more bulky, but I was able to take those off. So if anybody wants wheel spacers, if you see anything you want here, please email me, ryan@e39source.com. I'll leave that in the description below the video. Also, as things sell, I will update a comment that I will pin to the top below this video. So look at that comment. If you see that the headliner has sold, don't continue to ask me, it's gone. We'll take a look up here. We've got an ABS module. I have the other half to it as well. This is the part that bolts into the car and has the brake fittings on top, but we've got that and the other part. These are all the little actuators from the climate control box. The battery box, the DME box. I've got a heater core, a blower motor. That's the whole climate control box against the firewall. That was fun to take out. The AC evaporator, those little valves for the climate control there that are under the hood. We have 2 E39 M5 axles in excellent condition. One of them is kind of seized into the bearing in the hub, but if I were properly motivated, I could probably figure out how to get that out. I have a steering box with a good working servo attached to it. Then there's 4 Bilstein coilovers. They are the PSS, not the PSS9s. And I thought it was going to be real easy to sell this, and it probably would have been until I found out that one of the rears, the rear left as it was installed, is leaking fluid, unfortunately. So that one would require a rebuild, but I would certainly be willing to work with you on selling these 4 Bilstein coils. They're not that old. They were put in 2012. They might have about 50,000 miles on them. But the other 3 look great, just a little dusty. I also have a Jetdrag 420G 6-speed manual transmission out of the M5, 156,000 miles on most everything you see here. So transmission's available. The rear differential is really clean, doesn't appear to leak anywhere, leak anything anywhere. It's super clean, 156,000 mile diff. That's the 3.15 limited slip. Then there is a rear subframe with actually fresh bushings in it. I don't know if you'd want to reuse them, but they were done before. There's a front subframe as well. No rust, no damage on any of that. That's a transmission brace. That is a front M5 front sway bar. The sunroof cassette down there only has, it's only a couple years old. It doesn't have that many miles on it. It worked flawlessly. So I've got the entire cassette plus the glass. Make our way over to this shelf. We have good maps, horns, hood brackets, the washer fluid tank with pumps. I have an engine fan. I have some fan clutches, although I wouldn't recommend buying that stuff used most of the time. I have a power steering reservoir that has some fresh lines on it. DSC precharge pump, secondary air pump, a lot of heat shielding. I have really, really nice rear brake rotors. I believe they are genuine BMW. There's no lip on them. You know, it'd be like 1/4 the cost of new ones, and you would have great rotors. I have a rear bumper carrier, as well as the impact struts back there. I have clean, so clean I would use them on my own car, front wishbones. They were replaced shortly before the accident. Then I have some wheel carriers, and I'm just keeping some old hardware, extra brake pads and stuff around. But I've got the wheel carriers. Those black plastic boxes go where the rear chassis braces connect to the bottom of the chassis. I've got 3 wheel bearings. I have both rears and 1 front left over. That's the entire wiring harness that was in the car. It has to weigh about 75 pounds, and it would stretch out dozens of miles if you were to unwind it. I have all of that still available. The taillight pigtails have been cut off. The guy changed his mind. I still have the pigtails. You could attach them and have a 100% complete wiring harness if you wanted to. I have rear door gaskets. I have a trunk gasket. I have all the ductwork that goes for the interior climate control under the carpeting and such. And I do have the carpeting as well. We'll go inside. I've been keeping the inside components inside so they stay a little bit cleaner. So we'll go inside shortly. Down here, unfortunately, that one headlight I think is going to be fit for the dumpster, and the other one lost the tabs on top in the accident. If you didn't care about the top mounting tabs, it would be a good headlight, but those were snapped off. I've got all the factory headers here. We cut the cats off, that first part of the pipe, but we still have that. And then a lot of underbody heat shielding and sound insulation. The drive shaft has been sold, although it's still sitting here. And then behind that are the chassis braces. They're still available. We have 4 doors available, all in sterling, of course. They're all in good shape. One of the door handles has some clear coat fail on them, but obviously not this one. So these are just door shells. I've taken the door panels off, the vapor barriers, but the window motor and regulator's still in there. I could include glass if somebody wanted them. They aren't perfect, but they are in nice shape. So doors times 4. All the shadow line trim is still available. I was very careful removing it. Nothing got bent any more than what would form back into shape as you press it on your car. The only piece missing, or that I have already sold, is the front driver's door B-pillar. Everything else is still available, as well as all of these gaskets and seals, and then this piece that goes on the inside of the rear window. And the inside room. We still have the trunk lid here. There's a very minor ding in the top sheet metal, unfortunately, but otherwise, it's a great trunk lid. Even got the original VIN sticker on there, so that's never been painted or in an accident. The front seats do show some wear, as you'd expect at 156,000 miles. Nothing that couldn't be dyed or some minor panel replacement. All the motors work, no seat twist. Carpeting is here. This is the front carpeting. I have not made any attempts to clean it after disassembling the entire interior, but all of that would vacuum right up. It's one piece. We didn't cut anything. The rear carpeting is down there. Same story. Then I have the center console. Unfortunately, this is not a genuine M5 center console. It's not leather, standard 5 Series console. Having said that, it's in fine shape. Same thing with the door panels. These are vapor barriers, but the door panels here are what you would find in a 525, 530, or 540. They are black. They're not perfect, but they are in very, very good condition. So we've got all 4 of those. I do have some window switches and other parts remaining in speakers, and the vents are still in there. Standard dashboard up there in black vinyl. That little door for the airbag was dented though, so I removed that. The top of the shelving, we have trunk components. We have the plastic in the back that goes on the trunk lid, as well as the chassis. The carpeting for the Nokia box. We do have the DSP Nokia box with the 5-inch subwoofers as well. The rest of the dash is up there, some door speakers. All of these modules, we have a DSP amp, a Mark III navigation computer, a DME, EWS, FM, general module 3, airbag module, you name it. Here's the rest of that ABS module. There's the LCM, that's a light control module 3B, EWS, and LWR, that's your headlight vertical. Ground strap, all the straps, or all the brackets in the back for the radio and navigation. Here's a tire, the original M Mobility tire bomb and unit. Then we have a steering column, the chrome luxury M5 door handles. This is a great gas cap here in Sterling with only a few hairline scratches on it, so that could be good if yours is rusty. Then we have a pedal set down there, clutch and brake pedal, sound insulation, more door speakers, and then we have door entry guards here. Now this one, it's a factory glue, and the glue's coming apart here, but it's not torn or scratched up. That could be glued back into position if you wanted some rear door sills. The only full leather components we were able to pull off the car, that the car came with, are these center transmission tunnel trim panels in leather, and they would clean up really well. They're just a little dirty right now. We've got the dead pedal, the M5 dead pedal, which is in good shape. The front vents, unfortunately, had some cracking there. All the seat belts are here. Ignore that HVAC panel. That's just for buttons at this point. A shift boot, some trunk doors, and more ductwork. The Alcantara rear deck didn't look that faded in the car. It is a little faded out here, but it could certainly be restored, or behind tint. Honestly, you don't really notice that. Alrighty then, that's a brief overview of everything we still have floating around the shop here. Obviously there's more coming. Car number 2 is already here, and you'll see that car very soon in a video similar to the one I did on the Sterling car. So stay tuned for that. Let me know if there's anything you're interested in, and we'll talk in a future E39 Source video. Take care.